Recently, I found out a product that actually has been on the market for a bit, and it's by Intech, and it actually converts an arcade 1-up machine to a Sega Genesis. And I was really curious on how this actually worked. I have a ton of Sega Genesis products and games, and I wanted to check it out. So I purchased one, and I wanted to run through it and see what I thought of it. Did it work? Was it easy to install? So sit back, relax. Here we go. So here it is. It actually comes in a really nice carrying box in which you can take your old arcade setup and store it. That's what I do inside my arcade 1-up. And so here it is, and it is fairly straightforward. It does come with instructions. I do recommend following them, as there's a couple tricky things. There is a switch on the arcade panel that's hard to get to choose between regions. I wish it was actually on top. Here is the PCB board, and this is the Sega Master System adapter. Pretty sturdy. Awesome that it comes with that. And so here we go. I'm just going to show you a couple things. Here are the overlays. Some of them are kind of lame. The Final Fight one was okay. I didn't like the Burger Time one. Rampage was okay. There was just a few that were just alright, and the rest I didn't prefer. But you're going to have your favorites. It's cool that it comes with these, as you can swap them out if you get bored of one or wear one out. I did like the Golden Axe one, and that's the one that I chose to put on my panel. And pretty straightforward. I'm sure online you can get some customization and have people make you a custom one. So you got to take this out, and once you convert this, it's 100% Sega Genesis. And so here's the new PCB board. Just follow the directions, and definitely can't put it in incorrectly, as it can brick your PCB. You got to adjust these monitor panel switches there, and voila, if you do it right, you got this, and it's set up to play Sega Genesis games. And I'm going to show you kind of what my experiences were with some different games and homebrews. As you know, there's going to be several people that are going to have questions about, what works and what doesn't. A lot works. A lot more works than what doesn't. Streets of Rage 2, no problem. Now, this is a clone console, so it's going to have those limitations. It doesn't play Virtua Racer. It doesn't play Paprium, but it plays a lot. It sounds great as well through this arcade. This is a Final Fight 1-up arcade setup, and I really enjoy this. I have no regrets converting this to play Sega Genesis games, as I'm a huge Sega Genesis fanatic, and have a huge collection of Sega Genesis games. Really enjoy this product. And there's some other products too that Intech does to convert, but I really have strong feelings about Sega Genesis. It's one of my favorite consoles of all time, and this is awesome. It plays Robotron with the twin stick setup. And if you haven't played this version of Robotron, pretty good. But definitely, I'm going to prefer to play games on this arcade setup that are better with arcade stick control. And there's a ton on the Sega Genesis library. Sega themselves made an arcade stick. So awesome. Ghouls and Ghosts just plays wonderful. One of my favorite versions of this game. Grew up with this. Have lots of fond memories. And just an absolute amazing port. And one of my favorite games on the Sega Genesis, along with some of the others that I'm showing here. But great sound, great control. I had zero problems with playing the majority of games, and didn't have any hiccups. A little bit with the EverDrive multi-cart, but I'm going to talk about that when we get to that part of the video. It does play homebrews. Now, homebrews are going to be game by game, whether they're going to work or not. But Xenocrisis, another amazing aftermarket game, just fantastic. It just plays awesome, and I'm a big fan of this game. As those type of arcade style games just play wonderful on this. Really good sound through the arcade 1-up, but I didn't have any issues setting this up. The monitor switches, though, you do have to pay attention and adjust those accordingly. Here's an aftermarket game that I did with Second Dimension, and this is Block'em Sock'em, and I offer this at conventions. And if you like what you see on my channel, you may want to consider hitting that like and subscribe button, as I'm doing videos every week, 3 a week, and hope you can come back and find some other videos that you enjoy. But getting back to this, gosh, there's so many great things about it. The Master System adapter and the Ninja, which my good friend Eric introduced me to, and you know, just awesome, just an amazing game, and it plays great. Now, Master System multi-carts don't work on this, as I purchased one and it only read the first ROM on the multi-cart, and so EverDrive for Master System, it looks like it doesn't work with the adapter, and so that's kind of a wah-wah. But yeah, it does work with the EverDrive. I have an older EverDrive, and so I play in here Road Blasters. You know, and some people are going to prefer an arcade setup for this, but gosh, the Sega Genesis version of this game is amazing. Absolutely love it, and just think it's a fantastic port. Tengen just did so many great arcade ports on the Sega Genesis, and this is actually one of my favorites that they did, and I could play this all day long. Super Street Fighter 2, one of the bigger official releases for the Sega Genesis. Sometimes it gives clones issues. It's playing here fine. But overall, I thought it was great. The monitor, it looked crisp, 720p, and you know, I think it's perfect setup. And it's not going to be for everybody, but for me, if you have a great Sega Genesis library and want to convert one of your arcade 1-ups to a Sega Genesis arcade cab, this is a solid choice. Doesn't do everything, but I was completely satisfied with this product. So what do I think of it? I actually think it's pretty awesome, and I'm really happy I did it. A couple things to note is that it doesn't play, you know, Virtua Racer or Paprium. You know, it's a clone console, and so it's important to note that. And then once you convert it, that's it. It's actually a full conversion, and you're going to play Sega Genesis and not your original arcade setup that you had before you converted it. But it's easy to reverse if you have issues. And I've played mine for a couple weeks now, no problems. And overall, I'm very satisfied with it. If you're interested in picking this up, Intech also does some other conversions for other consoles. Super Nintendo, you can even play your Switch and PlayStation 4 games, NES. It's pretty cool. They're all on Amazon, but the affiliate link for the Sega Genesis one is below if you're interested. The price is okay. I got mine on sale under $100, and so for me, it was a solid buy, and it gets my thumbs up. So what did you think of today's product? Is that something you're interested in? Also to note, there are monitor conversions as well. If you have a arcade 1-up machine that this is not compatible with, they have these monitor adapters that can actually make it work with those. So that's also pretty cool. But anyways, I want to thank everybody for coming to my channel. If you like what you see, consider hitting that like and subscribe button and clicking the bell as I'm uploading videos every week. You folks are wonderful and beautiful. Let's keep it positive. This is the Immortal John Hancock, and you take care.